You are listening to the WYRD Mountain Gals Show. Prepare yourself.
I think it would blow my mind. I don't think I'm capable of much
My
today.
brain is already blown.
Yeah.
And we're recording, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
We're not Zooming. We have nothing to transcribe for us.
Oh no. What will AI do if it can't transcribe?
Well, it'll be lonely, but we'll be okay.
Screwing with us.
We'll get it transcribed at some point.
Y'all, we are sitting at the Mother Grove Goddess Temple, or the Mother Groove.
That's right. The Mother
We're in the
Groove.
Mother Groove. The Mother Groove.
That's the one Craig needs to write for us because he's
The
all
Mother
about
Groove.
that funkadelic
That's
kind of
right. He
music.
could do that funkadelic Mother Groove.
Me and him and Chris DeFata. Christmas
DeFata.
prog rock. I love
There
Chris.
you go. I know you do.
So you could have knocked, but
Well,
what would the point be?
I know at this point because we don't need to knock because we're sitting in the temple and just getting everything organized. There's a lovely, beautiful microphone here. It's lovely and beautiful, as I just said. And we are here.
And clean and dry and pretty.
Yes,
and
pretty. We are so pretty. We brushed our teeth. So
We did.
combed our hairs.
yeah, just so
we did
y'all
all
could
of that.
y'all could hear us sound nice and pretty.
How are y'all doing? I'm looking over at the south altar, and it's covered with Bridget stuff. We've got a whole bunch of correspondence over there. We keep our correspondence on that altar.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yes, and then there's the
That-
week 16 regeneration. So we're just going it,
Yep.
as they say.
We're still looking for money.
Yes, ma'am. And
Gift cards.
propane and water
Yep.
and gift cards
And heaters.
shelf-stable food. I brought in peanut butter and Vienna sausages
Yeah.
today, but we can always use more of both of those. Proteins are a hard thing in a food pantry because they're a little bit more expensive
Yeah.
than getting the 3 cans of green beans for $1, even if they're French cut green beans.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I caught peanut butter on sale today and grabbed a bunch of that.
So smart.
Well, I'm not I ain't the brightest crayon in the box, you understand, but occasionally I'll go through the sharpener. You remember the big old 64 box of crayons?
I do.
With the little bad sharpener in the back that you always broke the crayon before you got it
Yes,
sharp.
I remember that
Yeah.
distinctly.
I remember my daddy he'd say, dump them crayons out. And he'd pull his pocket knife out, and he'd go the ones that were just nubbins, and he'd sharpen them with his little pocket knife. Then he'd go get the whetstone, clean his pocket knife because they had all that damn
yeah.
wax and stuff on it.
Well, I never had to do that. You know why?
Wow.
I figured it out. When
You
I was
did?
young, yes. I held them like that in my arm
Uh-huh.
until they got melty and bendable, and then I would roll them up.
Oh,
And
you're
then I
so
would go
smart.
put them in the refrigerator
No,
for
I
a
never,
while.
I never figured that out. Golly.
That's easier than trying to explain why I wanted a knife at 4 years old. You know, I need a blade.
I just, I'd peel down the paper, and I'd use the little nub edge of it. And then whenever my daddy saw me doing that, he'd go, dump them crayons out. Come on, dump them out, little girl. Golly.
And did you crayon color in coloring books only, or
Oh, no.
you were everywhere?
I
Huh?
was everywhere. Yeah.
Did you have a thing that you would draw?
Horses. I drew horses all
I
the
drew
time.
some horses too. I sure did.
Somewhere in my world, there is a big old-fashioned album, like a scrapbook album. Mm-hmm. And on the front of it, it says, horses, self-hand and copied.
Oh.
And that was me and my cousin Dina drew pictures of horses. And sometimes we'd trace them. That's the copied ones.
Oh.
And then self-hand were the ones we had drawn on our
I see.
own.
Well, those would be some good quilt squares. What can I say?
I don't even know where that is. I think it was upstairs at my grandmother's house for many and many a year. It probably went out with the trash. That's all right.
I was obsessed
Ain't nobody care.
with making my own fabric with crayons. You know how you would do that? You would draw a design, and
Yeah.
you lay the paper on top of it, and iron over that, and then you'd slowly pull it off there.
Oh my
Oh, I
gosh.
thought I was the bomb with that stuff.
You are the bomb. What do you mean?
Shoot.
Were and are.
Well, I'm really looking forward to some of these art projects again this spring. I feel like I'm going to be relentlessly pursuing that again.
Oh, I'm excited to even hear that.
Yeah, I mean, I love the thought of being able to go outside somewhere safe, near the water, you know where, and
I do know where.
and it's a beautiful, magical place, and I look forward to making some art there and just writing some songs there and all of that stuff.
Yep. Doing the things we do.
Yep, it's
The
going to be
things
good.
we do well.
I'm going to be relentless.
I had the tragedy of my life has occurred.
Uh-oh.
Well, I mean, it did occur years ago. So the person who will soon be our vice president, and y'all know his name, I'm not going to say it because then I have to spit on this nice clean floor.
Uh-oh.
He wrote a book back in the day that everybody in Appalachia pretty much hated, and still does, and hates him, and still does. And I started wanting to write my book on Appalachia. So I made it into an academic paper that presented at the Appalachian Studies Conference, and I've started that book and
Ooh.
started that book and I ain't never finished that book.
Well, that's because the emotion involved with it runs so deep.
It does.
But how can you possibly
It does, actually.
express it with regular words? So there's a lot that's going to go into that. A lot of feeling that has to get condensed out into a language.
Would you like to be my agent? Anyway, with this Helene disaster, I think it finally has given me the hook for that book. So I picked up my notebook 2 nights ago and I went, well, I guess it took almost losing this for me to be able to write about it. So I may be writing another book, but it won't be for my current publisher. You don't have to be quiet, Mary Jane.
Can you grab me my pink phone behind your phone?
Yes.
See, people love that you exist. They do.
Yes, people love you.
I've heard from the weirdlings. They love it
They like
when
that you
we
exist.
broadcast from the temple. They
Yeah.
like that. And, I like that.
Aww.
Now it's your turn to
I
say
like
yes.
to sing too.
Yeah.
Well, I was trying to remember what that thing we called it, the something of wild enchantment. What the heck was that?
Wait, that's the Mother Groove Temple.
Yes, the Mother Groove Temple of Wild
Pleasure.
Enchantment.
Yeah, that's where we are.
Well, it is, but I couldn't remember the wild enchantment part.
That's because you live it.
I know, I do, every minute of every day.
Yeah.
So yesterday, speaking of the wild enchantment that is my personal life, I had an appointment at the Asheville Women's Center for a mammogram.
Oh boy.
And my friends, I would like to suggest that you do those. Please don't get into some political controversy with me about them, but they are unpleasant, but probably important.
Science.
Yep. So I'm having that done, which requires you to be stripped to the waist and have your tender private parts mashed between plates of glass. And I turned to the woman, as I often do, and it's never the same woman, so I get to use that same joke all the time. And I just said to her, do you know, if they checked for testicular cancer with this same technique, there would be a better way to do this.
Yeah.
And she stopped what she was doing, and she laughed so hard. She said, I've often thought that, but I don't think I've ever had anybody actually say that to me. I said, no, I think of it every time you tell me to turn the front part of my body one way, turn my head another way, and grasp a piece of equipment
Up above your
above
head.
my head and to not fall over. And she was like,
Or scream.
Or scream.
When
So,
the pain hits, it
There
hits.
you go. I was saving that just to say it on the podcast because it is the truth. And I'm just here to tell you that's the truth.
I get different ones. I want to say it's every 6 months somebody is looking at them.
Oh, golly.
So they're
Oh,
viewed
sorry.
quite often by the medical community. And, and I had the one that has the contrast in it now,
Oh, yeah.
which I really don't like, but it's way better than the MRI. Have you ever had to have a MRI of your chest?
No,
of your
I
area?
never have.
Holy
Blessed.
moly. I cannot function with those things. Look, your knock showed up. We're looking at the sine wave on the software.
And there's a warning that says the recording was too loud with samples above 0 dBs.
Oh, we can
It
do it.
may be distorted when saved to file. To fix this, adjust the input volume or don't knock on the table in front of the microphone.
It is okay.
Byron.
This software can flat out handle it.
I love that.
I do too. I'm really excited about some of these advanced features that I've been learning about. Because I told you I went ahead and bought what they call the Master's Edition, and
You
it
are the
will.
master.
That's right, and it has all of these effects and tools and libraries of sound and things that you can do with your video.
Y'all, we're going to do a whole episode auto-tuned Wyrd Man Gal.
Yeah. Well, right now I can tell you that we're in the key of. It's going to tell us exactly what key.
La, la,
Oh no, we're not in a key.
la,
We have no key.
la.
There we go. Whoops. C major.
Of course.
We are always in C. Always.
Naturally.
And I would have said we were D because that's who we are.
D minor. We're D minor for sure.
The
But
Tchaikovsky chords. Da da da.
Ba-ba-bum.
Yeah.
Filled with drama. That is us.
Yeah. Well, yes, drama, but
Anyway, so that's the self-care. That's your self-care PSA for January.
that's right.
So if you have tests that need to be run, and because these people love me, they also had gone ahead and scheduled my bone density. And they said, when I finish that, just go lay down over here. We're going to check out
at
too.
the same time, that's good.
Well, it was within 20 minutes.
That's awesome.
And this place is so good that they're almost all women, number one. And number two, I got there early for my appointment for the mammogram because I didn't know about the bone density. They sprung that one on me. So I got there early, and they got me in, mammoed, and out before my appointment time even happened.
Wow. Now, is that the one that's got the 2 stories and it's over here on the same side of the road as St. Joseph's used to be?
No.
Okay.
Oh, no. But that's where I used to get it done, and it's right beside one of the oldest cemeteries in Asheville. And I used to always love to come up to them to sign in for my those 2 things I had done yesterday. And I'd say, boy, isn't it like a Stephen King book that y'all have an imaging center right beside this really old graveyard? Isn't that weird? Isn't that funny? And they all get these just horrified looks on their faces like, well, I never hadn't thought about it that way. I mean, it's like an imaging center, right? So who knows what's going to come up on those images?
Oh,
I know. I probably scared so many people who are just like, I can't work here no more.
I wonder if that's a thing. I never thought of that before.
Well, they never admitted to that being a thing, but I mean, it's an old cemetery.
Well, I mean, orbs are a thing. If your camera catches an orb, that's a thing.
That's a thing, and the little wild young'uns here is a thing, and and I've been trying to get more exercise because I'm trying to,
And that's a thing.
that's the thing. And somebody called me yesterday when I was here, and I just thought, well, I'm just going to walk up and down the hall. Then I'm going to go up the steps to the first floor, walk up and down the hall. So while this person is talking, I'm just walking. I got to the 3rd floor. Holy moly, the temperature dropped, I swear, like 5 degrees. And I just stood there quietly, listening. And I didn't even hear what my friend was saying on the phone. I was like, oh, yeah, this is... So when we saw the building super later in the day, I said, that 3rd floor, that's a lot of, I don't know, energy up there, isn't there? And she said, have you been to the 4th floor? And I went, no, I never have. She said, well, you need to visit the 4th floor. So I reckon I'm going to do that one day.
I'll go with you. I like
It'll
that
be
stuff.
fun.
I used to work. I had one of those temp jobs at the Flatiron Building,
Ooh.
and I was up there at the top. And above us was just the roof, and we'd go up there. But boy, man.
My grandfather had a barber shop on the first floor, on the Battery Park first floor of that building for many, many, many years, like 40, 50 years.
That's Asheville to me. That area is Asheville.
Well,
to me.
no more.
Yeah, I know. It was Asheville to me.
Yeah, there ain't no Asheville anymore.
No. Just
Oh,
a
well.
bunch of traumatized people.
Boy, if that isn't true.
Everybody's got a little bit of trauma. Everybody.
Boy, and what was I hearing today? That FEMA, they're going to stop doing vouchers for hotels. Now they're going to work with apartment buildings. And I was like, has FEMA been to Asheville? Do they understand that there are no apartments here that are empty?
Well, why can't they just take some of these buildings that are sitting around empty now and convert them? Hell, if they're already renting the porta potties or whatever, line them up outside there and say, people, it's better than a tent in the winter.
Well, I'm going to hazard a guess that they're not doing that because somebody can't get rich doing that. I don't know. I could be wrong. I could be bitter.
You could be.
I could
You also could be right.
Oh, yes, thank you.
This is watermelon.
Ooh, I got me a little tiny watermelon. What is it? Not a Tic Tac. It's a some kind of thing for my breath.
I got some real watermelon, and it's in the refrigerator. I don't know what country or area it's from, but it's real watermelon.
It's so funny. It's one of the things that, because I'm old now, I think about the old days. We were never allowed to have watermelon till the 4th of July.
Well,
Because I don't remember who said it.
they're
Either
not
my
any good.
mother or my grandmother said they ain't fit to eat till the 4th of July.
I've heard that all my life. But I'm saying, if you want some watermelon bad enough, and they've got some at the grocery store, you'll pick
Hell
it up.
yes.
And it's still better than that Three Musketeers bar. It is.
Well, it's better for you, for
Yeah.
one thing.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm getting sugar and carbs, I want it to be something wonderful like that. Not something that's going to make me feel guilty
Or yucky.
or yucky afterwards, yeah. Ruin my skin. I'm one of those people.
I saw a thing today on the noon news, which I now watch because I'm old. So I watch the local news at noon so I can hear about the weather. Actually, Joe does that part. I
I
don't.
mean, your knee doesn't tell you.
No, I ain't got those kind of knees, thank goodness. Not. And they were talking about new labels. They're going to do new food labels so people can understand what processed food is because we don't know, apparently. We don't know that if food is in a can, it has been processed. And food that is not in a can, like if you buy some celery, as I did today, and it's almost as much as eggs, let me be clear about that.
And eggs are, whew.
Oh, Lordy. That has not been but minimally processed. What you have to look out for that is where it was grown, what it was grown in, all that stuff. So apparently the American people don't know what it means if food is processed.
No, I'm sure they don't.
Are we just the stupidest people on the planet? I can't figure it out.
It's not that we're stupid, it's that we are deliberately blind.
Are we blind dead?
Maybe. I mean,
Are forces beyond our control keeping us from knowing things?
thank you, ancient aliens. Did you hear that, George Noory?
Is he still alive?
I guess so. I went and saw him at a UFO convention in Raleigh. Well,
I want to hear the whole story of that.
the George Noory thing.
Of the thing in Raleigh.
It was an amazing show, a conference, but the backstory was how I got there and who I got there with and how they acted. Oh my gosh, never again.
Oh yeah, he's still around.
Yeah, he was on the History Channel. That's Ancient Aliens.
That is the funniest thing, because I didn't have any of that kind of stuff for a long time.
Yeah.
HBO, any of this stuff. Then I was so excited. The History Channel. This is gonna be great. Yeah. Well, there wasn't no history on it except for
Nope.
Hitler. It was Ancient Aliens and Hitler. That's all it was.
But you can see all kinds of is it History Channel that has those live serial documentary kind
Oh
of things?
yes. Oh my gosh.
Like Moonshiners, and is that History Channel?
Oh,
Or
Maybe.
Discovery Channel. I don't know. I don't watch those things. I really don't. I saw somebody posting today about, hey, somebody on the Moonshiners channel is from Edneyville. What do you think about that? And I'm like, I don't think anything much about that.
I think he probably ain't a real moonshiner, or he wouldn't be on that show.
I know. Well, man, people will fight you over their opinions about moonshiners. And
You watch it?
no, I've never seen it, but I have an opinion, of course, about it.
Of course, even though you have never seen it.
Right, and no experience with it. I always have an opinion. Yeah, and I'll tell you if you want to know, and sometimes even if you don't want to know. Yeah.
Well, I think, we always have a new get-rich-quick scheme here at Wyrd Mountain Gals, so maybe
What?
maybe we should figure out how to make some Appalachian Heritage alcohol under our label.
Call it
Well,
Spirits of
Get
Appalachia.
weird.
Yeah, the Get Weird label. Spirits of Appalachia.
Yes, it'd be lovely.
And I love that. You could put a little bit of,
Damiana?
juju in it.
Oh. I was thinking about the herbs. We could put in a little bit of mugwort.
Elder.
Open.
Or,
Yeah.
They make an elderberry syrup that is a liqueur. It's so wonderful. Yeah, but it's really not to drink, I wouldn't think. It's to use in baking and stuff because it's
Yeah.
really sweet.
Well, I make
Like
a
us.
lovely elderberry tincture that's made of Appalachian Heritage alcohol and elderberries. I'm going to bring some in.
I love that stuff.
I'm decanting the rest of it probably today, tomorrow.
All I need to do is take myself and divide myself into
Clone
several
yourself.
people.
Yes.
So that, yeah, and same for you, because you got so much stuff going on. Do you ever just rest?
I sleep really, really well. I sleep very deeply and well.
Yeah, I've been sleeping really well the last week or so,
That's good.
surprisingly so.
And I've started eating again, and that is good.
Yay, Byron.
Finally.
You like
Yeah.
it when you eat.
Yeah. Uh-oh.
Well,
As the cookies fling themselves off the shelf.
if only they were
Leave them
cookies.
on
They're
bag.
garbage
Oh,
bags.
the garbage bags, okay.
Nobody's brought us cookies in so long.
Are we cookie deficient? Cookie
We are.
deprived?
Now,
We're
now,
gluten-free cookie deficient.
well, we are all cookies deficient. We need gluten-free and glutinous.
Glutinous?
Gluttonous. Gluttonous. Well, but we got, yesterday, it was just yesterday, yes, we got donuts.
Oh, my.
They were delicious. Was it yesterday?
Monday.
Monday.
You know what I've noticed is the trendy, it was cupcakes was the trendy kind
Oh,
of junk,
yes.
junk food for a long time. And now it seems to be cookies. There's several places in town,
Yeah.
that sell nothing but cookies.
And fancy cookies. They're really expensive.
And, oh, so incredibly
And
good.
so many carbs.
Well, I can look at one and my blood sugar goes into that territory where it's like, watch out. Watch out.
Don't eat this.
Yeah,
Eat
don't
no
look
more
too
of this.
close. It'll hang. It's fine. Yeah, you can't hurt it. So, yeah, but I actually do pretty well with that sort of thing. I just go in there and smell the cookies, and I'll get a cookie and I'll eat a cookie. But what I won't do is eat 6 of them all night long,
Wow. And when I started watching the things that I ate 20 years ago, I realized that, yes, I could have one of those big giant cookies. I have a quarter of that, but I couldn't have the whole thing.
Yeah.
And that was okay. So I would say that my portion is that much.
Well,
That was all right.
The place up there by the print shop that we go to, their cookies are little. They're like
And
normal
thick.
size. Yeah. But the place out in South Asheville, they're like little plates.
Wow.
Giant cookies. So they're like pizzas.
Cookie
Little
pizzas.
Individual pizzas,
I
yeah.
love it.
Of sweet goodness, but no, it's just enough. And I can't imagine being a parent and feeding a child that kind of sugar.
Well, no, but we know parents, or at least see parents that do that all the time.
All the time.
Yeah.
That's their deal. They get to live with the children that they create. Well, hey,
true.
I don't get any opinions, so.
I have to tell you though, Mary Jane, when I took that box of donuts home, Joe did the same thing you did. He started picking out the little blobs of icing.
Oh,
He just sat down. He put all the donuts into an airtight container. I think I got home with 5 of them in an airtight containers. And then he just sat there with the box and a spoon. He enjoyed that thoroughly.
Well, that's the part I could eat.
Exactly.
That's the
So
skin of it.
the sugar is good.
Sugar.
The sugar
Yeah.
and the fat, sure, why not?
It's like that South Park episode. Everything's like a South Park
I know, because
episode.
if it ain't doing it, South Park.
South Park, yeah. Where Cartman, somehow the kids went through some horrendous thing, and as a reward, they got a bucket of KFC. And they were just all looking forward to it so much so. And somehow Cartman lied to them, and they all went running out the door looking for something, a snipe hunt. And while they were gone, Cartman ate all the skin off all the chicken
Oh,
and didn't tell them.
I love the skin.
And
too.
when they got in and realized what he did, Kenny, the one that's financially distressed all the time,
Is he the one that dies all the time?
he dies every episode. He just burst into tears.
Oh.
He was, but Karma got
Cardinal.
Cartman in the end, yeah, because he ended up getting sick from all of the chicken skins that he ate.
Oh, yeah.
So you can hear him going, "Oh God, please!" Ah! You know,
You do a good Cartman.
I do. He's my alter ego. Cartman is my alter ego. He doesn't like something, he'll say, "Screw you guys, I'm out of here." You know, and he'll just walk out. You know,
That kind of is your attitude. Though.
yeah, that is, yeah. I do not want to be there. Then I will go.
I have to tell y'all in the pre-show, we talked about a whole lot of things where both of us have taken the attitude of screw that, I'm out of here.
Screw you guys, I'm out of here. And
Yeah.
we're better off for it, aren't we?
Oh, no question.
Yeah.
No question.
I could think about it. If you're in a situation where you're ready to say that, if
Yeah.
you stay, it's just going to add more stress to your life.
Well, it's just torturing yourself.
Absolutely.
Why
Yeah.
would you do that?
I wouldn't if I didn't have to.
No.
So, hey, speaking of torture, Mom's doing good. She's doing
I
good.
am your mother's biggest fan. Your mention of her is never torture. It is always a purity delight.
Well, she's been dreaming. She's been sleeping very well.
Oh, I'm so
And
glad.
she wakes up and she has had dreams that are so vivid that it takes her a little while to come back to the world.
Is she doing gummies?
No, no.
Huh.
She takes, I think she might have a medicine that's a gout medicine or something, and that's all. That's
Isn't
pretty
that
much
amazing?
It is amazing, but she'll get up and she's fixed the world, you know. She dreamed that she was working in the endoscopy unit where she did work for doing
Yeah.
surgery there for a while, and she had like her daughter-in-law was there and somebody else was there and somebody else, and it was some situation, and she just knew what she had to do and go fix it, and it's like, what? And the
I
details.
love that.
I do too.
So she's obviously feeling better.
She is. She's always been a dreamer.
Uh-huh.
I mean, not like the John Lennon, you may say, although she's been that, but she's always been a sleeping dreamer.
Mm,
Yeah, and she
that's so good.
trained us from birth that the first thing you do when you wake up is you tell somebody what your dream was,
Oh, that's
and
wonderful.
then you can remember it. Yep. And Mom's dreamed some doozies that came true, some things that
Oh.
were creepy, weird.
Well,
If you weren't there,
and she's so funny about all that stuff.
she is.
And yet she has that thing, obviously a gift
Hmm.
that she has.
Yeah, but she's like me. She wants the science. She wants to be able to prove it and all of that. But
I
at the
get
same
that.
time, she's all about the ancestors. And, you know, she didn't sleep well the last couple of nights. And she told me, well, it's probably because of the full moon. You know, the moon is full, Alicia. I'm like, who are you? Who are you?
She's coming into her cronehood for sure.
Yeah.
She is filled with the wisdom of the crone.
It's interesting because the less she can see with her eyes, the more she sees.
Well, that makes
And
sense.
that's the
doesn't it?
truth. Yeah, she can she'll take some information about this a little tidbit here, a little tidbit there, and she will come up with something that I just have to go, wow, that's true. How'd you get there? You know.
Yeah.
So it's interesting to watch. Ah,
Oh, it sounds like somebody's coming in.
is it trick or treat?
No, 'cause it's January.
Well,
Though this is the Mother Goose, Mother Groove.
Mother Groove,
Mother
Temple
Grove.
of Wild Enchantment.
Wild Enchantment is all here. I tell you what, we got some good water, and I appreciate that, but we can always use more.
Did you
So-
meet George?
No, I didn't because we had 2 people bring in huge amounts. So we can always use more. And yes, I will call George and when next we need water and make sure we got somebody that can go get it and
Yeah.
all the things.
Yeah,
I went by a place today that I had heard had water, and they said no, we stopped that at the first of the year. So that's all right. One of the gals that picked up water yesterday, she picked up two cases. She was going to get 2 cases. And they said, well, could you use 4? And she said, well, yeah, I guess so. So I think there's going to be a lot of places trying to dump their stores pretty soon.
Because it takes up a lot of space.
It does.
I noticed that the wildfires, they were pushing the World Central Kitchen.
Yeah.
So I have a real appreciation for them now that I never
me
had
too.
before. I just never gave them much thought before, but here they are, and I want to say this was maybe a Kimmel, maybe.
Uh-huh.
So I just saw it. It was just a quick little thing, and it brought out these 2 people who owned this obviously upscale soul food restaurant in San Diego. Mm-hmm. And they were up there cooking, and the guy was like, and we're going to have our delicious fried chicken here, and we're going to have our delicious this, and he was really giving it a commercial.
I love it.
And I thought, well, are all the chefs going to go and cook for World Central Kitchen out west?
Well, I think they do. I think that's kind of kind of the thing with the World Central Kitchen is they get the local chefs and put them to work.
Now, did we have that here?
Yeah, down at
Okay.
Bears on Cox Avenue.
Well, I know that World Central Kitchen was there.
Uh-huh.
But I didn't know that there was, because let me tell you why I say that. It's because I noticed a lot of restaurants in Asheville that cooked and gave away food.
And still doing it. They're still,
Are they
some
still
doing it.
doing
Not
it?
so much
Yeah.
in Asheville, but farther out.
Yeah, and I remember thinking then, well, we're just not really asking permission, are we? We're just giving hungry people food right now.
Yeah.
And that's the way to do it. But I
That's
didn't
the
know
way
if
it
they
should
had
be.
like big name chefs coming in and offering
Yeah.
their delicious food.
No, World Central Kitchen's amazing. And
Yeah.
I've been supporting them for years. Anytime I got a little extra money.
For sure, me too. What they do and how fast they got here, and it's just what they do is unbelievably cool.
It is, because if you don't have to worry, like they fed us here for weeks.
Yeah.
Our volunteers here, somebody would go out, go to World Central Kitchen and say, we've got 5 volunteers today. And they boop, 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 give us 5 meals and water and fruit and sometimes candy bar.
Yep.
And yeah, all that stuff. They just, I can't say enough good about them.
And there was a lot of kind of goulash. But
Yeah,
there was one
yeah.
where you didn't really know what the name of it was, but it tasted great. But there was one dish that they made that I'd really like to know how they made it. It was good. I don't know what they put in it. Maybe I don't need to know.
It
but
could be, it's a mystery.
a mystery. It was
Yeah,
good though. We're
that-
lucky here.
Yeah, we were very lucky, and it was there was often meat, which was good because, I don't do rice or a lot of potatoes or pasta. Because it jacks my blood sugar.
Yeah.
But they often pork. They served a lot of pork, and it was good. It was good food.
Yeah, I was pleased. So we're doing it differently than they're doing it out west with their disaster, but that's okay.
It is, but what I'm hoping is that everybody looks at what disaster can look like, because that's flood and there's fire, but there's lots of other kinds of disasters that can happen and will happen. And we need to be conscious about that. And we need to
Have a plan.
remember to have a plan. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
what was interesting is that the folks, and did you already say this to me? But the folks out west, they instantly went to community-based in their minds. And
Yeah.
somebody was wondering out loud if maybe they watched what happened here.
Maybe
I mean, I don't know. That's not to say that we weren't helped greatly by a lot of organizations that came in.
Yes, we
from
were.
a lot of, so I should just shut
and
up.
still
shouldn't
and
I?
still are and still
Yeah,
are being
still
helped
are
with that.
being helped.
But the reality of everything that is going to be happening to us here in this country in the next little bit, 2 years for sure, is that it's got to be community based, circles on the ground. It's got to be mutual aid.
Yeah.
And if you got a little, you give a little, and that's how that works again and again and again.
You know, we have our friend Ilsa, the queen of the weirdlings.
Uh-huh.
I actually believe that has something to do with why she just decided not to move.
You think so?
Yeah, because she started kind of instantly talking about wanting to do something for her area there. And I guess she just felt like that's what she could do. She knows the area well enough and she can do it. And so that's fine. I mean, she gets to make that decision for herself. We've had a lot of sacrifices that the weirdlings have made to help us out.
Oh my goodness, they have sent money and supplies and gift cards
And energy.
and energy and love, and they've shared the stories.
Yeah.
And that, I mean, that's so important, and we need that from y'all still.
Yeah.
Is to remember what's happening here and remember what happened here. Because, now all eyes are on California, as they should be.
They should. Yeah.
And we here ought to be hearing more from our elected officials. Though Chuck Edwards did call me last night to invite me to be on a Zoom, me and everybody else in his district.
Got him too.
Oh,
And I just didn't do it because I knew I could not trust myself. If I was looking at his face on my computer, I would not be able to trust myself not to type crow.
do you think he'd know what the crow thing was?
He'd figure it out.
Well, if you ever do want to sit down with him, just
I just have to go to his office and make an appointment, and he might be there at some point.
Well, Chuck, yeah, okay. I got nothing to say.
Here's the thing. I want our representatives to represent us and to not be, scamming for their next election or any of that, or all that mealy-mouthed crap. I'm tired of it.
Yeah,
Just
I'm
be
tired of it.
straight with it and say, you're not going to get this money ever. This money's going to get filtered through whatever rich organizations it gets filtered through, and nobody is going to buy any land for anybody to build on because land is too expensive
Yeah.
for people to do that.
Yep. My advice to people would be don't be surprised when people live right down to your expectations. Don't be surprised by it.
Well, boy, didn't we hear all that this week with a noted celebrity author who, all that stuff came out last year, and I wondered why it came out and then it disappeared. I thought, well, maybe, who knows what. Well, it sure as heck did come out again, and I don't reckon it's going to disappear this time.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. We're in a sad, weird place right now.
We are.
And not to say that there's nothing happy or joyful or that it's not worth living through, but things are a little strange.
Mm-hmm.
I had this feeling when I was sitting in the parking lot chatting on the phone, yakking on the phone, and I started thinking, it's all of a sudden it just seemed to me that this whole everything was almost like a sci-fi book that I made up in my head.
Yes.
And it just, that's how it feels. And Bridget, our friend, not that Bridget.
She says, pointing to the Bridget altar.
Brittany. Bridget's on my mind, I think. Brittany.
She's looking at you. Look, she's
Yeah,
looking at you.
yeah. Our good friend Brittany.
Yes.
She was describing to me one time, she was talking about the quantum universe, and how the mechanics of life and death in the quantum universe. And I never really had thought about it the way that she explained it. But it was very interesting. And today was the first time I ever felt like, emotionally felt like that something was up with my reality, that reality had been somehow changed. And that really is what it feels like. And you and I have been there before. When COVID first started, we had that conversation. And I think we also talked about the incoming administration at the time or something. I don't know, but somehow we had that conversation about how it felt like everything just took a left turn at Albuquerque, you know. And so that makes me wonder, well, if that's the case, is this all just some sort of, dopamine-fueled dream that I have?
God, is that what it is?
Is it some bits of flotsam or jetsam floating around in my bloodstream that is causing me to have this weird-ass disassociated world sensation? Hey, was that a cool sentence or what?
That was. I want that on a T-shirt, but it'd be too much.
It'd be a lot. It
would.
is a lot.
That
That's
was good,
overthinking
though.
is a lot.
Yeah. Say that again.
You
couldn't.
can't.
I'll get it off the podcast.
Yeah, I could stop the podcast and
Holy
replace it.
moly!
But
it
yeah,
was-
I mean, it did feel weird today. It felt weird.
It feels weird to me that so many people around me, and I know I'm being overly dramatic because that's what I do, but they're just losing their minds.
Yeah, I'm sorry about it.
I really am sorry about it, and that's
Mass hallucination?
no, maybe that too.
No, it's mass
but,
sadness and anger and loss
grief
and
and fear. People are so scared, and I have quoted that quote from Dune so
Oh,
many
the litany
times.
against fear?
Yep.
That boy, he didn't know what he was saying,
And
did he?
only I remain.
Yeah. I was thinking Tesla yesterday. I was thinking about Tesla and how Tesla and Herbert, to me, were kind of the same person. They had that same attitude about learning. And, of course, Tesla found, well, speaking of ancient aliens,
Yes.
there's a school of thought that says Tesla has his flashes of genius came to him from another place, and that they weren't just his. And he had all kinds of stories about how something would happen. He got locked into a chamber during an experiment and was in the process of being electrocuted, and got out of it and came out of it with just this incredible kind of downloaded book or whatever, downloaded ideas of things. He invented a particle death ray, if you will. Not to mention, he had some sort of a feud with Edison.
Yes.
Because it was AC, it was alternating current versus Edison's current. And, just so many things about him. And then when he died, his stuff disappeared. They came and took it from him. So Tesla was, no doubt, he was a genius. No doubt about it.
No question.
And I think that when he was almost electrocuted, and I can't remember all the details because I don't have that brain that will, but I seem to remember that he described it as kind of a movement forward and movement backwards in time, and he just had these epiphany, insight, flash, 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 flash. It seems almost like that was a type of time travel.
That makes sense.
Yeah, and I think about the Philadelphia experiment. Do you know about that one?
Tell them about it.
Well, in the Philadelphia experiment, they set up a wave, and was it a particle wave? I guess it was. But at any rate, the entire ship, and it was in a harbor, it disappeared. It didn't just flicker, it just disappeared. And when it came back, there were no human survivors that I know of, although they told stories about humans that had been partially melted into the ship itself, into the works of the ship. And
Wow.
the thought on it was because of this time thing. They'd gone forward a little bit in time or backwards a little bit in time, and that caused the ship itself to move. Makes sense to me.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of that gets in my brain at 3 a.m. And of course, I do like cat videos,
It's horse videos for me.
horse videos.
Especially the ones that go, this is the kind of horse I thought I'd have, and it's some beautiful horse with luxurious mane and tail, and they're prancing in a beautiful field. And this is the horse I got, and it's some horse that's rolling in the mud or has is eating briars or something sticking out of its mouth on both sides. I love them.
Have you watched any of the Huskies?
Yes,
Huskies are
oh
a
my
thing.
God, yes.
I love Huskies. Yes, that's it.
Here's what I'm going to do one time when we're recording together like we are today. I'm going to get a bottle of Boone's Farm, and we're just going to have it here with us. Maybe we will have a little sip for old time's sake.
Tickle pink, please.
Oh, of course.
You know.
Or, what is it? Wild Irish Rose.
Oh, God.
My God. Y'all, we drank some of the...
Oh.
We smoked some of the worst weed, and we drank some of the worst wine and the cheapest beer. But by God, we got to 60, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. Well, we didn't know any better, I guess. That's what it
I
was.
guess not.
I never was that drinker much, but I did like Heineken beer with pepper in it.
Ooh, yummy.
I don't know why I like that. I have no idea, but I thought it was good.
Well, I did one of those study abroad things. I used all my college money between junior and senior year, and I did a study abroad, and I came back, and I loved Heineken. I loved German beer. I taught my dad into buying some.
Yeah?
So he and I sat down, we were going to drink us some Heineken. And he said, "What? That's like drinking cold horse piss. What is this?" And this is from a man who drank Budweiser, so he obviously was quite a connoisseur of beer.
Of horse piss?
Of horse piss. And I said, "But Daddy, it's good. It's got like extra sparkle or something." And I don't know what it is. He said, "Well, I'll tell you what it is. It's expensive. That's the priciest damn beer I ever bought." And I was like, "Well."
Boy.
So I did not drink on my daddy's dime after that.
I have an appreciation for how much good beer costs, but it never was an issue for me.
Right, because you're not a beer drinker.
Right, and you really didn't have a choice with your pot.
No.
You just had whatever was there, and it was dirt weed. 9 times out of 10, it would be flat.
Yep.
Because they had to flatten it down into some brick or something and bring it into the country, I think, and just transport it. And it would have seeds and
sticks and golly.
No stems, no seeds that we don't need. Acapulco Gold is badass weed.
Man.
Yeah. But we just thought that was, the thing. And then there came Sinsemilla.
Mm-hmm.
And finally, there was a choice. You could have this, or for about twice the price, you could get the same pot, but no seeds, supposedly. So people, and then from there, I don't know, I took quite a break on it for, quite a number of years there. And while I was breaking, these places were developing these genetically altered versions of weed that were getting higher and higher and higher in THC. And then all of a sudden, CBD was discovered, and the endocannabinoid system was discovered, and they started finding out about the medicinal properties of it. And, it's still not at the place that it could be because it's been illegal for so long and it's still illegal federally. They don't have a lot of research funds being sent over there to learn about it.
No, they don't.
But from what they do know, they are able to definitively say a few things. Number one, nobody's ever died of a weed overdose.
No, do they die though of obesity because, oh my God, I'm so hungry?
Yes. Or people die from alcohol. People don't die from weed. if you were, in order to overdose on it, you'd have to smoke the equivalent of, like 1,000 joints an hour or some crazy number like that.
Wow.
However, this genetically altered stuff that's out,
Yeah.
that people who are creating this product will mix it in such a way that it becomes even stronger. They call it wax, and people do dabs. That's what that's called, dabbing.
Oh.
And people can get in loads of trouble from that. Now, I don't know if anyone's actually died from it, but I imagine that they could, because it's so incredibly strong.
Huh.
And especially they've noticed that younger folks in their 20s, it's not like us. When I was doing it, we'd have weed and there'd be a 7% content ratio of THC. And nowadays, routinely, it's, twice or 3 times that. But these younger kids are starting out with this wax stuff.
Yeah.
And dabbing away all day long at the stuff that's 95%. I mean, that's incredible. They're getting a condition called, I forget, hyperhidromesis or something like that. And basically their body they start craving a hot shower, and their body starts throwing up about every 15 minutes because it's trying to get all of that out of their system. And that's where there is some danger, and they'll end up in the ER and all of that. That's a real danger. So that's why I would never, even if it was offered to me, I would never ever ever mess around with that stuff, because it might be fun for a little while, but I just can't see doing that to my body.
No. Shoo.
You didn't know that, did you?
No, I hadn't heard any of that. But I mean, I'm not au courant, as they say.
Yeah.
On much of anything. I picked up a book today that I've not read since I worked at the bookstore, so let's say 25 years.
Mm-hmm.
But I read it when it first came out, and I found it today on a shelf
Okay.
in my hallway, and it's Wilma Dykeman's Return the Innocent Earth.
Wow.
And I barely remember it, but I remember liking it, so I'm going to start reading that again.
Sounds like a good one.
Well, it's a heartbreaking one. All of her stuff is about some farmers who then figure out a way to do something else, and the generations go from being like subsistence farmer, or good farmers, not subsistence farmers, good farmers, to make it to factory owners, to what, and they basically sell their birthright for a mess of pottage. They do whatever they can to make money, and they get runt.
Runt.
So I think it's going,
It'll flash back on them at some point, but in the meanwhile, everybody else gets to pay the price for it, don't we?
Yes.
So I don't know. I've had a week where I've had all these big emotions, getting mad for a long time. I'm really, y'all, in case you don't know it, I'm really pissed at somebody.
and in case you had somehow forgotten that she's got red hair down to her knees.
Yeah, that's why I try not to get mad, because it just.
I mean,
but I've been dealing with that. And,
exactly,
and the whole hurricane is still biting me in the butt.
Yes. Well, I was driving down Riverside Drive yesterday, and the traffic was backed up. Well, it was backed up because they are doing alternate lanes because they're cleaning up along the river.
Good.
That's a good thing. It's a real good thing. But I mean, that's where we are now. Is that the places that are getting cleaned up, it's still a pain in your ass.
Yeah, I walk out the door and get in the car sometimes with the expectation that everything's going to be normal.
Yeah.
And then I get a half mile down the road and I see something, or I realize that this entire shopping center is closed. There's no business there anymore. And, there's just a lot of things that have been kind of bumping up into my consciousness. Because I've had a slow physical week because of this dental issue. So I've had a lot of time to kind of ruminate and overthink and all that stuff.
Well, we just both laugh, and I just looked over to Alicia, and because we both got tooth and jaw problems, and we're just like an Appalachian stereotype. And you know, I hit 60, my teeth got bad.
Yeah, that's true.
And now it's just bad, so we both are dealing with it. And you know, it's anytime anybody's got to deal with ongoing pain, so it never doesn't hurt. I mean, sometimes if I load up on the acetaminophen and ibuprofen or whatever and hold my mouth just right, it doesn't hurt, but it hurts.
It does. So there you go. That's us, kind of a little stressed, a little down, but still pretty damn good.
Well, I went to the grocery store today and bought groceries. I have food, and they had the peanut butter on sale. So I bought lots of peanut butter for the food pantry and brought that in. And let's just go ahead and say that, we are accepting shelf-stable food at the Mother Groove food pantry.
That's
So
right.
you can leave those donations. The Mother Goose Grow Pantry. And you can leave those donations over at Raven and Crone under the big round front table. And we would appreciate that. Proteins, and I think I already said this, but proteins are really important. Peanut butter, canned meat is really good. We got a lot of tuna right now. But yeah, peanut butter and canned meat. Spam. People love
if
spam.
you can afford it.
If you can afford it. Vienna sausages, even potted ham is good.
Potted ham.
Yep. So those
Shelf-stable.
shelf-stable, more fat probably than protein, but still.
Powdered milk.
Powdered milk is good. We got some individual powdered milks.
That's good,
Yep.
real good. You can do anything with that. And we could use any of those Mr. Buddy heaters and the propane tanks that go with them.
Your propane buddy, Mr. Heater.
That's right.
Well, we got some cold weather coming up. Y'all are hearing this on Sunday, so it's going to get cold soon.
Yep.
And if you get one of these propane heaters and then you decide it doesn't really work for you for whatever reason, you can donate a used propane heater, and we will be happy to take those
Say
from you.
thank you. That's exactly right. So clean out your closet, get your spring cleaning done, and do whatever you need to do, and keep us in mind.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, keep us in mind. And meanwhile, we're going to be, whining about our tooth and...
I'm going to be whining about the place on my jaw where the tooth was.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, but we're going to try not to do whining, because here's what we believe in. I'm going to say we, and then Alicia might smack me. I don't know. But I got my good jaw turned towards her, so if she smacks at it, don't matter. And that is, if there are issues in your life and in your world, take a nice deep breath, have yourself some soup, and think about how you or you with friends can make that different and better. The whining and hiding and being afraid is not going to help you, but what will help you is helping other people. What will help you is knowing you have friends to support you in what you're doing. And what will help you is to not be afraid.
Let's pull a card.
Okay.
Grab you a card.
Do, 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 do.
Can we make this one for all of us? To every day turn,
Churn. It's a churn card again, and the churn card is, it's good work, it's hard work, it can be tedious work, but getting the work done leads to sweetness.
It does.
And that's for all of us.
Yep.
So
And
put on your big girl panties and get on it.
Or, don't. You don't have to wear panties.
No, you don't. You don't.
Can you pull one for Angie, our Weirdland friend, who's
Yes.
been so good to us? She could probably use a card.
Miss Angie, this one's for you. It's yellow root.
Up, side, down. So yellow root used to be super common around here, and it's not nearly as common anymore. As a matter of fact, a lot of people don't even remember what yellow root does, and I'm trying to... You've never heard of yellow root?
No.
Let me see. I'm going to look up its botanical name. We've always just called it yellow root. or yaller
Well,
root?
yeah, I always heard Yalla.
Yalla.
Yallaw, I guess.
A friend of mine likes to go to Yellowstone.
Yellowstone. Miss Angie, this is all about coming to terms with your anxiety and your fear. Deal with your anxiety by being compassionate with yourself, because it was reversed.
Oh, okay.
So we
all
know
right.
you got some anxiety. We know we all got some anxiety.
Take it easy on yourself. If you were your friend looking down, well, what advice would you give yourself? You'd say, don't take it to bed with you if you can help it. Try and get some rest and take care of yourself.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Hey, that made me think of something. There was a thing on social media recently of what was something your father always said to you. And I was trying to think about something my dad always said, because I don't know that there was much of that, but he used to say, don't borrow trouble. And that means don't worry about something you don't need to worry about. Don't be anxious about something that you can't do a darn thing about. That don't. And he said, borrow.
Borrow.
Don't
I was getting ready to
borrow
ask you.
trouble.
Don't borrow trouble. Yeah. My dad would say, if a bullfrog could fly, he wouldn't bump his butt when he jumped, would he?
I love it.
He would. He's a man of few words, but when he spoke, And he also told me one time that cold was in my head, because he and I were going out to the wood pile, and he was going to chop some wood, and of course I had to go and help because I'm helpy helper.
Yes, you are.
And it was cold, and I said, how come you never get cold? And he said, that cold is all in your head. He said, you can turn it off if you want it to. And so I always remembered that.
Well, and you can.
Mm-hmm.
But
He didn't help me with the heat, though, but...
Well, you don't want to do it for too long, though.
No.
Oh, not if you're likely to get
Frostbite.
frostbite.
Or dead. but he told me that, I remember.
What'd your daddy ever tell you? Do you remember? Something that stuck with you, that was helpful?
Oh, gosh. You do it, you clean it up.
Oh, God. Well,
That sounds like that's a parental thing. You do
that's
it.
good
you
to
clean
know,
it up.
too. You do it, you clean it up.
It's all advice, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, you hear that? They're coming to get you.
Huh. I hope they bring a straitjacket, because I'm feeling a little cold.
They might.
Golly.
Well,
Y'all, I know we not our usual exciting selves today, but
we started out good.
well, we did. Did we run out of energy, you think?
I think so. I think I need a nap. At my advanced age, I should be taking a nap.
Oh my gosh.
Shit.
Well, y'all, thanks for everything you do and all your good thoughts and your good, strong attention to us and what we're up to over here in Western North Carolina, Eastern Tennessee. We love you and we want to hear from you. And I guess that's all I got to say. This ain't an Appalachian goodbye. I don't know one.
It is. Well, y'all, we'll see you next week. And everybody, just take care of yourself. How about
Please,
that? Have some
please.
behavior while you're at it.
Oh, no.
I didn't say what kind.
All right. Bye, y'all.
Bye.
WYRD Radio.
Happy holidays, everybody. Season's greetings, y'all.